Okay, and we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. My name is Sam H.I.T, and we're starting off the fifth episode of The Hit. The Hit, what was previously called the Hit DXB Dubai, because both myself and Rich are in Dubai. So we launched this show, and the HIT stands for Human Investment Technology. And we also have a new co-host with us as well, who we'll be introducing very, very shortly. And we're starting off today's episode of what do you do to shift your mood? And we're going to go right into it. Having said that, we're very mindful of obviously what's going on around the world. Wherever you happen to be, I hope you're safe and well. And if anything, the purpose of this show is basically to put a spotlight on basically the power of our magnificence, the power of what we can do, our potential, and hopefully people listening here would, basically take away something, to apply something in their own life, anything that will shift their mood to something brighter, something because we can all use it right now. So without further ado, we're going to get moving. We're our co-hosts, Rich and Andrea. So Rich, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning. Thanks. Nice intro. We're giving you the controls today, Sam. So you can put the comments up when people put their comments up. And good luck today. We're going to wish you the best for the show. I'm really, really happy to be on today and Andrea with us. We should have introduced Andrea first, ladies first. But anyway, big hello to Lana also. Today's topic is really, really interesting, especially about shifting moods and the energy related to that, and especially in what's happening in my city, in Melbourne, and people that are going through some hard times. So hopefully today what we can do is we can give people some sort of insights or things that we use as coaches and dealing with people of how to shift their moods. And we're getting a lot of love for Andrea already. So let's get Andrea on.
Good. Andrea, can I give you a formal introduction?
Sure.
You need to put her in the box, my friend.
Yes, we'll do that right away.
Don't put me in the corner.
So Andrea is a coach and speaker. She runs her own practice, and her tagline is "Owning your own true magnificence is your ticket to inner freedom, helping you to know, love, and trust yourself. A powerful journey home." So Andrea, over to you.
Hello. Yeah, I guess. Oh, Rocco. Yeah, it feels a bit like that, doesn't it? I'm sure. So lovely to have you here. So glad that you can still tune in, even though you're kind of like behind bars. But yeah, so I guess that's and yeah, let's not that I want to say let's not dwell on it, because the reality is that this is exceptionally real for a lot of people, and I don't think sweeping our experiences under the carpet actually helps any of us. I think that in particular for me, that whole concept of shifting our mood is really powerful when we can acknowledge the mood that we're in. Like, I think that's really important to go, well, where am I and where do I want to get to, and be able to separate what we can control from what we can't control. And for me, I absolutely believe that our power lies in our ability to see ourselves through our own eyes, not through the eyes the world want us to see it through, if that makes sense. And so that's where I am very much about owning our magnificence. And, we touched a little bit on it last week, guys, or maybe the week before, differentiating between confidence and arrogance. Owning our magnificence is not about arrogance. It is not about pitting ourselves against somebody else, that I'm better, that's what makes me magnificent. It's literally about centering into what makes me me and what is magnificent about that, because there's such power in self-acceptance, our self-esteem, our confidence. when we be who we are, we do things differently. We really do. So yeah, that's why my tagline is what it is.
I love that. I just wanted to say it's because the topic today, what do you do to shift your mood? My mood's already changed a few times by seeing Gauze, big hello to Gauze and Rocco on there. Isn't it amazing how your mood can be like shifted? And there's another comment there by Maritz who's joined us too. He says here, thank God we didn't get rash in a miniskirt. So, you know, shifting moods and stuff like that. And I wanted to also bring in my side a little bit later about what I do to shift moods, and then how I've controlled moods by being a DJ and shifting moods in that. So I just wanted to put that forward and you know, give people, again, the same thing is here. Please like, share. We're here to put information out about mental health and helping people. We might just give someone guidance. It might be something that Andrea, myself, or Sam could say, and it might just help people, because it is a tough time at the moment, especially down under and my neck of the woods in Melbourne. It's very different here in Dubai, let me tell you. We've got, Sam can attest to this, we've got concerts going on next week. We've got the expo starting. We've got Andrea Pachali. We've got Ellie Goulding coming for concerts. It's all open. Yet my city is, anyway, I'm not going to get into that too much. But Sam, go ahead. Tell us about shifting the mood. Get us started. And again, guys, like, share, please send, put the comments in. And maybe a bit later, if someone's got a story of how they shift their mood, maybe you want to get them on or stuff like that. We're going to be tight on 45 minutes today. Try to be as best as we can. So go ahead, Sam.
Cool. So we're talking about shifting moods, obviously, and I think it's healthy. I mean, my version of this is really getting into a mood. I mean, we're constantly getting in and out of different types of moods, something that we hear, we see, obviously we feel. And I think, you know, this is part of this whole evolution, I suppose. And I think there's something great about embracing the moods that we're currently in. But going back to what Andrea said, it's also accepting where you are right now, like seeing it for what it is and spotting it, and just really applying this dose of self-awareness. Like, this is how I'm feeling. This is what it is. Great. So, and everything fluctuates, you know? So it's important to actually at least exercise that self-awareness on, this is how I feel, and there's nothing wrong with anything, whether you're good, bad, you're feeling horrible, whatever it is. Rich was mentioning what's happening here in Dubai as an example, as opposed to maybe other parts of the world. We're all on planet Earth. And it's just amazing how some people take it in stride and some people, you know, conquer them or defeat them. And if you look at it from a larger scale, you know, from a macro, you can call a country in a specific mood. And sometimes it's difficult to get out of that, especially when people are, conspiring to keep that mood in check. And so, but I think going back to
Sorry, put yourself in the big picture. Sorry, he's got the controls now.
I got the controls. So
shifting your mood.
Control. I think we owe it to ourselves to ask ourselves that, listen, if it's my life to be lived, then let me choose, okay, and see how it goes, okay? We try to make things sound simple because personally, I feel it is simple once you hand over the controls over to you and look at what you can do, even if it's starting with something small. But shifting moods is healthy. I think it's great because it gives us so much dimension and depth to us. But the point really is, you know, everything starts to change really when you know that you're in control. At least you're in control of yourself. Like, I don't know what you're gonna do listening here, that's you, but I sure know what I choose to do. So if I know that I can switch on or switch off something, then I'm gonna practice it. And the more I practice it, I will get better at it. So that's just to kick off, you know, the position.
So how do you get yourself into control? Maybe Andrea, you can help us with that. Like, I'm sure that people are listening going, yeah, that's good. All good and proper. Sam, great words. And, why I love doing this show is I want to give people answers. and maybe people can put their comments in. But how do you shift that? Like you being in control of yourself and your own emotions, someone could be out of control, and then how do you shift that energy? You know what I mean? We're looking here, Melbourne, lockdown capital of the world. Yes, it is, unfortunately. Andrea, Sam, what do you guys think? Look at this. There's a lot of comments going on about Daniel Andrews. Sam, if you don't know, that's our premier of Victoria. And he's saying, yeah, put it on the dartboard, whatever makes you feel good, guys. I love the picture of was it the Godfather there? What do you guys think?
So,
by the way, Sam, some language there. Dunny paper means toilet paper, just for your information.
Got it.
Canadians don't get that, but we'll yeah.
So I think I want to come back and sort of focus on something that Sam said there in terms of like that choice and, you know, it being simple and stuff. And I totally understand in different ways from different life experiences that, you know, some things can seem incredibly difficult. Like, how do I choose to shift my mood? Like how do we do that when it feels like everything is against us? And let's not deny it, there's certainly people that would be experiencing that lack of control because everything feels like it's being controlled at the moment. And even without the experience that we're in, we have different life experiences. People might have experienced divorce where they feel like they're not in control because somebody else is calling the shots. Like, you know, you might lose a job and you feel like you're not in control because somebody else is calling the shots. You might experience death. Like, we experience so many things in life that are not of our choosing, and it feels like we have no power to control them. And in essence, that's true. There are a lot of experiences outside of us that we literally have no control over. But the one thing we do have control over, regardless of the external world, is our internal world. What we make that mean about who we are, what we make that mean about our life, what we make that mean about the situation. And when you say, Sam, that it's not simple, it's not always, it's simple, it's not always easy, is what I'm trying to say. And that's the thing. It is simple in that we get to choose how we feel irrespective of what's happening out there. But that doesn't mean it's easy. That doesn't mean it's easy to accept or even acknowledge to begin with. And so, yeah, how do you shift your mood? Speak to Rash for 5 minutes. And this is such a good point, because this is the other thing that I wanted to say. You know, there's an element of we get to choose what we let in. Okay, so let's just press pause on COVID just for a minute. And I don't want to pretend like that doesn't exist, because it's everywhere. I understand that. But if we go back to the epicenter of our lives, there will be people that impact our mood. There will be situations that impact. Maybe, you know, maybe social media impacts the way that we feel. Maybe the job that we're in impacts the way that we feel, the relationship, the friendships.
Can I tell you, Andrea, when Carlton win, it shifts my mood. It does. And I guarantee you, all of the people, when they win, oh my God, my whole weekend's done. It's
so
amazing.
You know what? I'm going to challenge you on that. Can I challenge you on it?
Yeah.
I don't think it's Carlton that shifts your mood. I think it's you.
No, I don't know if I agree. I reckon people will agree with me.
Yeah, and they can, because you know what? This is the beauty of being human, is that you can see it one way and that's your truth, and I can see it another and that's mine. And that's the power that we possess in being able to shift our mood.
But don't you feel like, you know, like let's say I watch a game and we got ripped off by the umpires and I'm like, oh man, we could have won, or whatever it was. My mood, and being a coach, I switch it, but I can't help it not affecting me. Or if someone gets injured, you know, they've done a knee or whatever it is. I don't know.
Yeah, but so that's my question, I guess, is do you still believe that that's you doing that, or it's the situation?
No, but the situation creates the mood, doesn't it? I mean, I can switch, But, if they have a great win, it's the external thing. It's like someone says, hey, you look great today. It might make you feel good. Or, your favorite team wins or whatever it is. I don't know. I sort of look at that. There's a comment from Rocco there, Sam. Maybe we can just put up also. He says, I broke up my situation and started to control one small thing at a time.
Yeah.
That's a good way of doing it. A very wise man, Rocco, with the jumper punch today at 2:30 Melbourne time.
I think we react and respond, don't we, to our external environment? But I still believe that the more conscious we are of how it's impacting us, the more power we've got to be able to bounce back that mood. So you're saying it does impact you, if you get an injury or whatever.
Yeah.
Like it's I think we are impacted by our external world because we're human. But it's that ability, the ability to shift your mood comes down to how long you want that to impact you. Like, does that impact you for the rest of the season because your best player's done their ankle or cruciate ligament or whatever other body parts they do?
ACL.
There we go. Or do you have that moment and then then be able to accept it and go, okay, so what's Carlton going to do now, or whatever other experiences we have.
But I want to add to that. I think you mentioned, I think we're talking about, do we look out or wait for external stimulus or response to change our mood, or do we rely on ourselves? Now, Rich, just a few minutes ago, you said, oh, well, if Carlton wins, obviously, my mood changes. And you're right. You're absolutely right. Like when something great happens.
I really like the way you say Carlton with an American accent. Really, really love
it. Carlton. So if they win, that changes your mood. Absolutely, right? But here's a thought. You accepted that stimulus. You accepted that response to begin with. So going back to Andrea's point, it actually did start with you. Of course, the outside world proved it and said, oh, switch. But you accepted it. And by you accepting it means you had control.
No, I know that. I totally understand that. But I'm saying that the external and I understand that. And I can give you the example of, being a DJ and controlling the music, right? So when I'm playing music, and let's say it's coming towards, close to midnight at a club or bar or whatever it is, and then I know with particular songs I can shift the mood. Now they're in control, but I'm giving them the external stimulus to pick them up. They're there to party. They might not be there to party. Do you know what I'm saying? So what I'm saying is the external influences are there. But yes, you are in control,
Exactly.
What's this comment?
That's
Sorry.
it. You were in control. You were DJing. You constantly look at the dance floor. Do people like the music? They don't. Are they moving to it? Or are they not? So you're constantly calibrating, but you're in control because you're playing the music. You see what I mean? So there is, in my view is, we constantly have this control. Now, a lot of us are actually using it unconsciously. So therefore, but we have decided, like I decided that if Carlton wins, I'm like, yeah, oh, cool, right? Now that was an unconscious choice, but I did decide. So I let that happen. The big question we're talking about today is, the choice is ultimately yours. Do you entertain this or you don't? Yeah.
No, I totally understand that. And it is the choices with us, because even at the end, I could just say, okay, it's just a game. Let's move on, or whatever it is. I can shift also. But I think also what's important is today, maybe we can teach a couple of people that we teach people on changing a mood. And if you're ever feeling down, I don't know if, Andrea, if you've ever done this with people also, but if you ask someone to look up, right? Even if it's a kid who's crying, and you ask them to look up, it's very hard to start to cry with your eyes up. There's something, it's about physiology or whatever it is. It's unbelievable. It works.
Yeah.
Or if someone's got anxiety, I teach people that you put your tongue behind your teeth like that. and it changes things. It's amazing. These are little techniques that we can teach people to shift their mood. And I think it's important, especially with what's happening in Melbourne, and you know, people are so sick of what's happening, even in your neck of the woods, Andrea, in Queensland, whole of Australia. You know, they're dealing with something that's, you know, it's never really happened. You know, it's the most locked down city in the world. A lot of negativity. And how do we go and shift the mood? Because if you want to focus on that, you're going to get more of it. You just go to YouTube, you'll see protests, you'll see a whole bunch of different things. Whatever you want to see, you'll see.
True.
So how do we shift that to make you, you know, not to be delusional and say, hey, it's not happening. It's happening. But is that serving you? That's the point. That's what I want to get to.
That's
Great.
such a good question, Rash. Like, that's the whole point. Is this serving me? And I think it's really important what you said in terms of the, you know, to not be delusional or ignorant or anything like that. You know, I think there's an element where we need to be able to protect ourselves and our energy, and to be the best version of ourselves, recognize, how is this serving me? And, you know, this has been my journey for the last couple of weeks. Like, yep, people in Australia here can look at Queensland and they can go, well, you know, you haven't been in lockdown, you haven't got the rules that we have, you know, but comparison is the root of all evil. All of my family and friends live in Victoria.
Yeah.
All of them, right? We've made some up here, but all of the people that are the closest to me are experiencing what's happening in Melbourne at the moment. I can't just go, oh, well, I'll just take a stroll down the beach and, you know, everything could be swell. It's not swell. It doesn't feel swell at all to me to be watching this play out.
Mm.
But I had to get to the point where I questioned, how is this serving me? How do I be the best version of me by being completely consumed by what's going on? I can't support somebody else's journey if I'm in the thick of it myself. And so for me, how did I shift my mood? And it's all very well because I still have an element of freedom and stuff like that. I'm not in lockdown, but I did 4-hour restorative yoga session on Sunday. That sounds like a very long time, and I understand that. But what it essentially did was it took the outside world and put it back out there and left me with my inside world. Left me with myself. Because sometimes, without us actually realizing, the outside world is seeping in, and it's filling all the crevices where hope and love and compassion and empathy used to live, with fear and anger and frustration and resentment. And while they are normal and perfect emotions, and I'm not saying that we shouldn't experience them, we have to be very conscious about how long we stay in them and how long we bounce back out, and how much respite we give ourselves. Because especially for people experiencing what they're experiencing, I'm sure that they, you know, it's hard to ignore the fact that you're locked in your house. Like, how do you escape that? You know, it's inescapable, but how do you stay within so that you can manage that the best way that you can?
Isn't that amazing that you've got all of these different types of rules, and how that affects the physiology of a person? So social distancing, which I understand we've got to do because of COVID or whatever, the energy of a hug, right? Little things like that we're missing out on. Interaction with people, energy of going to a bar and dancing, and all these types of things, or going to someone's house for a barbecue, all of that. And we're now going to more like Zooms and all this sort of stuff. It's got to affect people, you know? So, and I think this is why today is really, really important. I'd like to see other people put their comments in and see what they're dealing with, and maybe we can give some advice today. We don't have all the answers, but, you know, from psychological part of things, the way we deal with people that are either, you know, not doing too well mentally or challenged, we tend to help them. And I think what you subscribe to, Andrea, of like understanding the true you, this by far trumps everything. It answers all the questions, I think. So I want people to put out comments, and whilst Andrea's here and Sam's here, hopefully we can help someone if they're going through a particular time and shifting the mood. I know Andrea, for example, and because she's a very good friend of mine, she goes to the beach. She'll listen to music really, really loud. It's probably Adele or Coldplay or something like that. Right? I do the same. I've got trigger songs, and trigger songs that get me into the zone, and that could be, something like Van Halen, Jump, or the Bee Gees, or whatever it is. Just gets me in the zone, and it makes me feel good. And I tell people so much times, do things that make you feel good. If Carlton lose, as an example, watch a game that they won. Even if it's in the past, whatever it is, go. Change, shift your mood. It's better being in a place, and we always say this to people also, is that focus on what you want, not on what you don't want. Even when the world is giving you what you don't want out there, So I just wanted to put it out there. Big g'day to Joseph in Bangkok. Let's get some comments from people. And what's this? What about music that changed moods? It's one of, yeah. What is it about the music? It's, what I think, personally speaking, and that's a great question, Paolo. And Paolo's from Paul's from the Jumper Punch. Those who don't know that, it's the best show on the net. I say it.
The best.
It's 8 o'clock, Melbourne time tonight. I think the music has got to do with frequency, the kilohertz. Even when you listen to meditation music or there's particular things, it's about the groove, it's about the beat, it's about the emotion in a song. Could be trance music, it could be pop music, whatever it is. It's about frequency, and how that frequency hits you. Your wiring in your neuro wiring. I don't know. What do you guys think? I mean, Andrea, you subscribe to the whole music thing, and I see you do it. You talk about it and see your videos.
Yeah, I guess I've never really researched I think there's definitely stuff that you could go and find out exactly why it does. Like, I'm sure people have researched that, but I think you're onto something there when we talk about frequency. Like, everything is energy. Everything has energy, and shifting our mood is really essentially doing that. We are shifting the energy. So emotions like sadness or frustration, anger, they carry a heavier energy. You can feel the drag of them, when you sit with them. And I think that's the energy and the frequency that they carry. Whereas when you move up, into lighter states like acceptance or joy or gratitude, and actually that's just reminded me, that is one of the tools that I have used since my middle son was 3. So his dad passed away when he was 8 months. And when he was around 3, I created a box in the middle of our dinner table, and we wrote words. I had a 3-year-old and a 5-year-old. So we wrote things that we came up with that we were grateful for, because Nice. It was really important for me, my journey as a widowed woman and a mum to 2 little boys at the time. I needed to make sure that I helped them see what we still had, not what we didn't have, while still honoring our loss. But the way forward for me, and in terms of helping try to shape them into the men I would hope that their dad could be proud of, was that, what do we still have? What are we still thankful for? What can we still show gratitude for? And gratitude is, some people might go, oh yeah, that's good and well, like that sounds lovely and stuff. It holds such a, that frequency and that energy is so high when we can be grateful for things, and that really is something that can shift your mood quite significantly, I believe, is to really, and like we talked about last week, not to just say these things. So we got rid of the box once they were old enough, but every night when we have dinner, when they're all here, every night, what are you grateful for? So we've been doing that for nearly 13 years now. And what happened was we would have people come over, and we still did it. and we'd have family come over, and there's a few families now that have kind of created their own, like, this is the flow-on effect too of being able to shift your mood and being very conscious of your energy and your frequency and stuff like that, is that it really does have a flow-on effect. You know, you really can impact those around you, and not that we should live our life trying to impact, but, you know, the reality is that we do. That energy bounces off each other, so we can bring people down as quick as we can take them up, and we can be brought down as quick as we can be lifted. So
that's why I think the importance of your surroundings is so important. Like, we're talking about music and different external stimuli, but the importance of your social interactions, the energy around you, the people around you. You know, you can have great people around you and make you feel good. Good advice, good things, even when the world's not giving it to you. Do you know what I mean? Like, I think that's like an external thing, external, like meditation, you know, sounds of meditation, you know, raindrops, nature, a whole bunch of different things, even the environment when you go out for a walk in the park, whatever it is, all of these things. And I guess what we're trying to do is talking about giving people techniques out there to make them feel good and to help with mental health. But you're right. What you say is those are external things, and sometimes we do need it, but it all comes in from within. I'm totally with you on that. And I'd be interested. I mean, in your case, Andrea, you went through something absolutely challenging, being widowed in your 20s or whatever it is. But I'm sure that you would have been so down. What did you do to shift your mood? Like, how did you? I mean, now it's in hindsight, it's a bit different, but what did you have to do? I mean, and I'd be keen to hear what you say, because I'm sure there's people watching that they go through things, and maybe they put a good picture at the front, and you know, no, life is good, and they're at home, and life isn't so good, you know. So I'd be interested to see what you do, and then if anyone's got some comments also that they want to add, or what they do, or if they're challenged with something, please put it in there. Go ahead, Andrea.
To be quite blunt with you,
yeah, we only like a blunt, Dal. I only like a blunt.
I got sick of feeling like shit.
Okay.
I got sick of feeling like shit. I just, like, that was the defining turning moment for me, was that I did hear this voice. People probably think I'm crazy, and that's totally fine. I'm fully acceptance of my inner woo-woo and crazy, but I definitely got to a point where I heard, like, I was completely down and out. And, you know, this is a couple of years afterwards, and this is after a failed relationship as a widow. So it wasn't just, you know, 6 weeks after my husband died, I decided I didn't want to feel sad anymore. Like, it was part of the journey that I was on. But just that feeling of being so broken that you are unlovable, like that, but I heard it. It was like an audible thing that felt like it was external, but I know that it was my soul. Like, I know it was coming from inside of me, and this was the message I needed. And it was just, your happiness is your responsibility. And that was a defining moment in my life where I realized that the external does not control the internal without permission.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. Okay.
Absolutely. Andrea, thank you so much. I just want to jump on because we've got two big questions. And I also wanted to add something as well, now that I have the controls. Because I wanted to touch on the word when you said the, what is it called? The grateful box, where you add in something you're grateful for. I think that's super, super powerful, because it ultimately grounds you. Like, what do you have? And you have your health, you have your loved ones around you, you've got a roof over your head, you've got some food on the table. I mean, those are, of course, the bare necessities, but they're big. They're really, really big. And I think it's so powerful without sounding, like you said, too rosy or fluffy. And as coaches, that's the first thing that we say. Listen, it's not about, sharing fluffy comments and, be positive and force yourself to put a smile on your face. Sometimes when you feel shitty, it's great to admit it. Just admit it. I feel shitty now. And there's something so magical, powerful when you admit it to yourself. You don't have to be vocal about it, but when you do, something shifts inside psychologically, making you feel more powerful, that you can move on, feel a little bit lighter too. So Paulo asks a beautiful question. I'm just gonna slap it on the screen here. Okay, it's not going on.
Yeah, it's on. It's on. It says
Uh,
the most powerful and meaningful thing anyone can do is deal with the tragedy of life and put the load on your shoulders. Accept your suffering and realize you are strong enough to deal with that. Oh,
I want to. It's a beautiful question. Thank you, Paulo, for asking that.
Statement, maybe.
Exactly. It's a statement. So accept your suffering and realize you're strong enough to deal with it all. Now, I'm just putting it out there. Maybe some people can deal with it, and many people cannot. But what your statement actually says at least rings true, and I connect with it wholeheartedly. And something that Andrea said just a few minutes ago, when you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, trust me, you go inside, and then you'll get your answers. I mean, let's face it, no one's coming to save you. When I actually read that line on a post in social media, and it just really made me think to myself and go deep within myself and say, you know what, I'm gonna do this. So if I could shift gears on my emotional gears inside, then I'm gonna try experimenting with it. And the whole purpose, obviously, of this show is to really just make you think and ponder, maybe even try out some experiments on shifting states. I actually see it as like a shift in gears in the car. Like if you go from first to second, third, fourth, fifth, once you're in that emotional mood or those gears, it makes it makes it a little bit tough to actually change gears or come back to the first position. But it does it once you learn it and practice it, you can actually learn how to shift those gears back again. Okay, because the same amount of effort that you took in shifting a gear towards anger or frustration can easily be pulled back to first gear again to change it to something more joyful, more happiness, being more grateful. And so that's just a quick car gear analogy on shifting gears. I'm shifting gears.
Nice metaphor. Nice metaphor. I just wanted to say one thing, is that what Andrew was saying before, and it's a combination of what you're saying, is that you were saying that you felt shit and you got sick of it, right? For us, the best time we can coach people is that when they're there. Because when you're still like a 5 out of 10, 6 out of 10 going, oh yeah, no, I can deal with this, I'm trying to deal with it, I'm challenged, etc. It's much more harder when you got someone, and Sam, you will attest to this for sure, when they said, that's it, I'm done with this. I don't, it's like there's this famous metaphor that I know those who know who Jim Rohn is. He talks about a guy that's driving his car, and the car's just keeps on breaking down on him, and he's done with it, right? And but he tries to fix it or whatever it is, and then he one day he just gets up in the morning, gets his gun out, and he just starts shooting the car. And he says, "That's it, I'm done. That car's never going to be. I'm never going to use that car again." So that's why I just want to say that the real thing here, guys, is that when you're ready and you to the point, don't be at a 5 or 6 out of 10. You've got to be at a 9 or 10 to say, hey, I'm done with this. I'm sick of feeling shit. If I want to put my hand up and get some help, how do I get help, and who do I need to speak to? And then I'm telling you, there's hope out there. Look, something significant happened in Australia that you don't know about, Sam. Andrew and I were talking about is that Melbourne is a football team. They won the premiership. They haven't won a premiership in 57 years. There's all these stories that give you this hope that who would have thought? I mean, these guys were, the mediocre team for so long, and they won. So if that shows anything as like a metaphor to say, hey, you know what, I can actually get myself out of this too. If that can happen, and no one thought that can happen, then my life can change also. So that's all I wanted to say. There was a comment from Di I want you to put up. She
There
put
was,
up.
yeah. If I may, Rich, can I just read that quickly because I wanted to
Yeah.
add to that point. So Di asks, so true, Rash, and I think it's important to remember that it's not selfish to protect our space, our mood. So get off social media or snooze people with posts and views that don't serve us in that moment. Absolutely. That's a great comment, great question as well, to say we have the choice. We don't have to stick with, scrolling unconsciously and following the herd, so to speak. You have a choice to do what we need to do because we are the most important investment, and I would say that's what the whole purpose of the show is: human investment technology, which means you are the most important investment in your world. So if you're good, then chances are people around you are good too, be it your family, your kids, your spouse, your partners, whoever it is. So that's really a great comment. Thanks, D. Is it D or Die?
It's Di.
Okay.
Di is a really good friend of mine. Those who don't know, she's on Wentworth. You know what Wentworth, the TV show? She's one of the actors there.
Okay.
So thank you. You don't know it again. It's an Australian thing. It's on Foxtel. But yeah.
Can I just revisit what Rash was saying around being the 5 out of 10, or when people are at that kind of kind of that breaking point, sort of where I was, like I don't want to feel this shit anymore. Like that was simply what it was. And while there's an element of personalities that will then begin to maybe recognize for themselves what I knew I needed to change my thinking, I started reading books. Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway was the first book that I ever read because I was a people pleaser. So the added burden for me of being a widow was that then the choices I needed to make to move my life on impacted people around me that I loved. That burden was horrendous. Okay. How that impacts other people, because I'd always looked outside of me. But what I really want to be able to, or what the conclusion that I've come to, and I know that Rash and I have a bit of a different take here, and there's a difference between everybody in the way that they hold space, and that's totally fine. But I believe that when people feel safe enough in an environment to be able to unpack some of the stuff, they will automatically become ready.
Yeah.
And it's being able to recognize within you, this is where I go into intuition and how to, like, you guys are on here, all three of us are in the personal development field. Some of you will feel connected to what I've got to say. Some of you will think I'm complete fool and full of rubbish, and that's totally fine. Some of you will connect so well with what Sam's saying or what Rash is saying. The reality is that is the first step in being able to listen within yourself to know, because I am a firm believer that all of our answers lie within ourselves. Sometimes we just need someone to walk beside. Like Sam, you said no one's coming to save us, and it's 100% true. But there are amazing people that walk beside us as we save ourselves. Do you know what I mean? And it's like that could be a friend, man. That could be like a teacher or anything. It could be a coach, a mentor. It doesn't matter. There's 8 billion people on the planet at the moment, close to whatever. There's going to be someone that knows how to hold your hand or knows how to. I'm not a kick up the butt girl. I'm telling you, in personal training or personal development and stuff, if you go at me to push harder, you will probably get told to take yourself elsewhere. No, I'm not going to say it. I'm going to be a lady.
No, you can't.
Just go the other way. I'm not your client. Honestly, I'm not your client. I need someone. Whereas there's other people that would literally find me irritating because I'm all about how safe do you feel to be able to ask yourself these questions.
How do you get there, Andrea? This is the thing. I'm sure someone's watching going, how safe do I feel? How do I get there to be feeling safe? Do you know what I mean? Like, I might not be feeling safe, right? I might not be feeling safe. How do I get there?
Sorry. I don't know. So I guess that's the thing about the environment that you're in, the people that you're in. Like if we're talking about personal development, like someone being somewhere they don't want to be, and they want to change their experience, they want to change how they feel, they want to shift up their mood, they want to shift through something that's not working for them. Safety comes in how understood you feel. Like how much are you being seen by the person that you are choosing to work with or interact with? Like how safe do you feel to be able to express yourself? Because if you can't express yourself, you're never going to be able to find your answers. I don't think, personally, for myself. I don't.
Yeah, I agree with you, Andrea. I think you also touched on something interesting, is holding space. Holding space. Like this show is holding space for that type of conversation. And for people that enjoy it, that resonate with this, then, they think highly of their self-development, right? So they want to do something about it. It's a free forum to learn, to apply anything and test it, because it just shows how much invested you are in changing what you want changed in your world, what you wish to see and stuff like that. So absolutely, I fully agree. Switching. Sorry, Rich?
There's a comment from Beth. I think it's a good one. You haven't put it on. It's a bit long, so maybe you can read that.
Yes, I did. I did want to get to that, Beth. It's a beautiful.
And then,
let me see.
And then just one more thing. One more thing is, I implore anyone that wants to come on. I've noticed that the Pom Man is in the house too. So big hello to the Pom. But let's just read this out. When shift comes, it comes huge responsibility, and we need to understand that it might take a month, year, or even more. What works for me, one may not work for another, but self-acknowledgement needs to be done seriously. And there will be days, when you not feel like getting out of bed, but it's your life, your story. Instead of building a wall every day, just lay down a brick. I love this. And what I needed to do is not compare my life or experiences with others. I find that it doesn't help.
Can I just quickly respond to that? Because I feel like
can you
Beth,
take the comment down? So we can see each other. Go
yeah.
Put Andrea in the box.
Well, I feel like Beth has just literally hit on the word that came up when you're talking about safety, and that is judgment. Like, to literally, can we come from a place of no judgment around ourselves? And that's what I feel like that brick each day is, and if we wake up, and we can't get out of bed, whatever the situation is, like, can we hold that space for ourselves, and can we hold it for each other? And like, the environment of the world is kind of showing us this whole judgment, this whole division that's going on within the world at the moment. Is there's so much judgment around how you're doing things, why you're doing things, when you're doing things. And we have that within ourselves as well, that, I should be doing better than this, or I shouldn't feel like this. And what happens if everything just was, and there was no, I'm not getting it right, I'm getting it wrong, I should be happier, I should be more successful? What happens if that was one of those bricks that we could, put down each day?
I love this woman. I got to put it out there. Man, seriously, you go deep. You go deep. Seriously, Andrea, I love that.
Whoever's listening, thanks guys for tuning in, for watching, for leaving your comments. I mean, the tons of comments that were great to get us talking about how to shift moods and stuff like that. We've offered some quick, unique, simple, fun tips. You can do this test right now by just simply looking up and notice how you feel. Usually when people look up, they kind of feel calmer, much lighter. It's a bit more positive, gives you a positive outlook, at least to start. And keep liking, commenting, and sharing with your circles. That would mean the world to us to do that. Appreciate all your comments. Lana, exactly, Andrea, absolutely. So that's great stuff. So Rich, over to you. Where do you want to take this?
No, I just wanted to put it out there. There's some other comments that I know there's a shitload of comments at the moment, which is great. Really appreciate that. I know we've probably got another 10, maximum 15 minutes to go. If anyone wants to come up, if you want to add it in there, if we can help someone, please come up. And if you don't want to, it's totally cool. You can put the comments in. But if you want to come up, I think maybe Sam, you could put the StreamYard link. And whilst we got all of us here, and we could even show techniques. We do a whole bunch of techniques, and then we could talk about what we're going to discuss for next week. There's a great comment there from Rocco. It says one thing you can do now is who you choose to associate with. Sometimes you need to take out the garbage. I totally agree. So there's some great comments in there.
I've put the link in there in the chat box in case someone would like to join. Please feel free. It's a fun place and environment. And so Rocco says one thing you could do. Okay, that's the one. Take out the garbage. Yeah, absolutely.
So would you guys be okay if I just while we wait to see if anyone wants to come on, whether I just did one quick little process?
Yeah, go for it.
It's the only real process that I have, to be honest.
Can I try? Can I be the guinea pig?
No, it's for everybody. I want everybody that's listening. I want us to all do it together, because I feel like this is something that can, easily be able to reset and our mood and stuff. And while it's simple, it's not always easy to remember. But when I talk about owning our magnificence and really knowing who we are, I do believe that we have a connection to a greater source than us. Okay, that's my personal opinion. We are more than our human experience. And that's what holds the truth of us. And so, it is a little woo-woo. So I know there's a lot of men that are jumping on this, but I think that even really protective men that are here to hold their families and provide for them, I think it's really important to be able to remember that deeper side of who we are and what our magnificence is. So if you want to participate, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine as well. But all I would ask is that we would all just close our eyes and allow ourselves this couple of seconds, couple of minutes, just to really tune into like the truth of who we are.
So when do you want us to do it?
Right now.
All right, so counting backwards. 3, 2, 1, and
just close your eyes and just honestly let the world out there, the experiences that have come before today, the people that have come before today, the stories and meanings about who you are that has come before today. Just let that be what it is. Just let that go and just be present right here in this moment. And if you feel comfortable, I just want you to place your hand on your heart, to that place that is all knowing, that holds the absolute truth of who you are in underneath everything else. And if you are comfortable with connecting into that truth that knows you better than anybody else, and the first answer that you get, the first thing that you hear, and there's no stress if you don't hear anything, but the first answer that you hear that feels good, that's your truth. And I just want you to simply ask and to listen and to hear. What is your favorite thing about me? And maybe you didn't, and maybe you did, and maybe you heard this thing and then straight away the voices started, no, that can't be true. But the first thing that you heard is the truth of who you are. And so I'm kind of hoping that someone heard something. Wow. And if you're comfortable with sharing, because
that was interesting.
That was freaking amazing.
Good.
The noise and the clatter and the bang out there will take us away from that, and we get to choose to come back. There we go.
I have tears. That's amazing. What an experience. Great experience.
Hold on, let Andrea speak here.
And what happens, and I'm going to cry now, but what happens if this is the natural state that we're meant to live in? What happens if this is the truth of who we can be all the time and we've just forgotten?
I think I'm a bit speechless at the moment because I put can I just say, and I don't know if anyone else would agree that tried this. There's something about when you put your hand on your heart. It's I don't know what it does, but it allows you to go in deeper. It's weird. That's my experience, at least. And then I had a whole bunch of different thoughts going. If I can just explain my situation, and what come out of me, and some key things come out of me was love and helping people and stuff like that. So this is the true.
So my question, can I ask a question?
Yeah, go ahead.
How did that feel?
It feels good.
So this is my thing. Like, I saw that the question was there about I had tears. I'm not sure if that's good or bad. The way to kind of be able to tell is, what did it feel like? Like,
there's a comment here from Lana, and she says, I did it. It was, I am kind. She's so kind, by the way. Beautiful woman. And despite my head says I'm hopeless, and I think you should comment on that.
So there we go, Lana. And so this is being able to differentiate between what is our absolute truth, right? And what is, like we talked about last week, the things that sabotage us. So I did it, and you heard I am kind. So tell me how that felt when you heard that.
Maybe we can get Lana on.
If it felt good, if it felt good, then that's your truth. Right? Then when you hear that hopeless thing, how did that feel? Because it's all about being able to recognize, how does it feel? Because a lot of the time we are led to believe that life isn't meant to feel good, that life is meant to be hard, it's meant to be a struggle, it's meant to be a push. And what happens if it's meant to feel good and we can welcome that in? Felt good. There we go, Lana. Then I don't need to answer the question. You know that that's your truth.
Well, I'm getting another comment from Lana as well, saying that felt crap. So what do you?
She means that the hopelessness probably felt crap. That's what she means.
So keep tuning. This is where we get to tune into. Okay, if I know that my truth feels good, and this is where we could go back to earlier conversations about external environments, that in terms of when people say things, in my belief, the reason that we feel crap is because it doesn't match our soul's truth of who we are.
So a quick question here from Maurice. Please take the screen. I don't understand what you mean by that. If you could just elaborate.
I'd love to get someone on. If someone wants to come on, Lana, Gina, or Maurice, even the Pom Man.
Yeah, I left the link in the comment chat, Rich. So
put it on again, just in case that if someone sees it. And I think, what you've just done, Andrea, I love. Saying here, Lana, please take the screen. Okay, got it. Well, it's up. We don't want to put any pressure on anyone anyway. So you want to go on. If you don't want to, if this disabled, because it takes a bit of courage to come on the screen and talk about that, and it could be personal, and totally understand it. But we're here to help, and it's the main thing, and we're trying to shift the mood. And you have just done it, Andrea. You've just shifted the mood. People watching, and especially us as the hosts also. It's amazing, so kudos to you, really. It's amazing what happens when you put your hand on your heart and just go for the inner truth, what actually speaks to you. That's
because sometimes I guess, don't you think? I think it can be confusing sometimes to wonder what is our truth, because there is so many external influences. And it does take a commitment to really quieten down and go, I do have this connection to something that is deeper than where most of us live our life, which is on the surface, because we kind of have to. We've got lots of things going on, and we've got to provide for families and look after children and hold down a job, and life is busy, and if we lived at this depth all the time, maybe we might be a bit too floaty to do the things we need to do. But to know that we always can come back to that, and that we do know ourselves better than we believe that we do, if we're guided sometimes. Like, I didn't know how to do this. I've got a beautiful woman in my life that has helped me really understand who I am at a much deeper level, and that's totally fine. That's what being a global community is about,
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely.
Busy crying. Okay, I hope that is a release crying, Gina, and not a holy shit, I don't know what to do crying.
Maritz has not his head.
That's so
That's
funny.
funny.
I love it. And
All
how
right,
good is laughter for changing our mood? Let's be honest.
Oh
How
man,
good is laughter?
put some Seinfeld on, or like that. That always changes my mood. Or
Yeah. Well, that's right. That's exactly it. I think that's worth the investment, really. Spending enough time with yourself and doing some inner work, some exploration, some playing around, experimentation.
Hey, I'm going to put it out there. If people want to help us with the topic for next week, I was thinking about talking about anxiety, and there's a lot of people suffering from anxiety. It's just an idea, because we've dealt with people. It's a serious thing. Most people that have anxiety look very normal. It doesn't look like, and people don't understand it unless you've copped anxiety, a panic attack or anything like that. We've got some really super techniques that we use and to help people with that. It's just an idea, and we're going to put it out there.
I just put a banner, Rich. I just put it as a banner there, asking the audience, what do you think we should talk about next week? Because we're really getting inspired, and week from week we get inspired by the topic we're going to discuss for the next week from the people. So we really want to bring the most amount of value possible, and only with your help, of course. So please comment, like, or share it with people so they can join in and perhaps find this useful, because we want to make it as valuable as possible. It's still growing, which is great. We've got a ton of comments this week. So the question to you is today, what do you think we should talk about next week? Put it in the comments right now. And
I'm sure there might be some carton comments, because I do a carton show too, but let's not do the carton one at the moment. By the way, you're a carton supporter, Sam, now officially, and Andrea, we've made you a blue. So some memberships going across to you guys. We've put here, yes, anxiety, please. I think anxiety is a how do you do? Maybe we'll do the topics next week. Let's
write it down.
Anxiety.
I'm writing as we speak. So guys, if please give us a hands up, a thumbs up, or just type in the number 1 for anxiety. If there's something else, please feel free. Okay. Gina says, yes, please, anxiety, rather learn techniques from taking tablets. Yes, we'd love to. Maybe we'll discuss a little bit of timeline. Perhaps, Andrea, you want to throw in a couple of nuggets on that if you want, on anxiety, because that is a hot topic. So we definitely understand where you're coming from. And I think there's a healthy dose of anxiety, I would say, as to have, because it's always great to feel a little bit anxious when you're excited for the future. That little bit there, I don't think we can remove it completely, but maybe we can. Hold on. So that's a cliffhanger for next week.
No, I think with anxiety, and just one thing to give a bit of a taste for next week is that, and when I dealt with a lot of people that have had anxiety, is to say it's okay to be alert, because anxiety is an internal system, but not to be alarmed. That's the key. To change the words from alert to alarm. From alarm to alert. So that's the thing. I think we're getting overwhelmingly number 1, which is anxiety. We'll look at doing that. Look, the other thing is, just before we wrap up the show, is that, look, we hope you guys can support us on this. Like, share, subscribe, all those good things. Look, we're not doing this to make money or anything like that. We're actually doing it we devote our time, go out there, maybe just, if you like, share this to people. the word gets around more, and we can maybe just help people out there. And that's what we want to do. Just just want to put it out there.
Sure.
Is there PayPal? There's a comment there. And if everyone's joined on, maybe you don't feel like it this week, or next week or whatever, feel free. Next week, I think Andrea's going to come in a little bit late. She's got some but watch. She'll be like probably half an hour late. But and again, this type of thing is, I want it to be in this from the outset that myself, Andrea, and Sam have discussed. It's got to be chilled. It's like we're sitting in someone's lounge room and we're just having a chat. And let's at least give you some tips from our world in personal development. I've seen things change in like that. It's amazing. Someone that believed that they couldn't get out of it, and they put their hand up and said, "Look, I need guidance," and they're at the 9 or 10 out of 10. Or in your case, Andrea, when you say that, finding out what the true within, safety and that technique you did was friggin' amazing. So yeah,
good technique.
Sam, put you in the big screen now, my friend. We're getting a lot of really good comments, and I've seen a comment that Lana said that Andrea is a blue bagger for life now. So we're officially making her a Carlton supporter. Everyone that watches will become a Carlton supporter somehow, or have some sort of love for this wonderful, wonderful team, which was once was wonderful. There is hope.
Yeah. No, I think we have a lovely show. The comments, thank you guys for tuning in. It was an absolute pleasure. Thank you for your comments, for participating, because other people could be benefiting from this, from your question, perhaps going through similar things, or it could inspire someone to do something or consider something new. So we very much enjoyed it. Andrea, are there any last words that you'd like to throw in?
Thanks, Lana. I'm glad you liked it. And this is the thing, you can do that anytime. Like, now that you have experienced it, you don't need anybody else to take you on that journey. Like, we can literally take that journey just by making that commitment to ourselves. But thank you for everybody that's jumping on. It is definitely something that we all love. The three of us, I think I can speak for all of us, that we love being able to support people. And there's no doubt right now that there are a lot of people, for different reasons, that just need a safe place to come to be who they are and do what they need to do. And that's the combination that we bring, is that once we know how to be, then we can choose what we do with that. So yeah.
There's a funny comment there from Rocco. He says, "Rajesh, why do you hate everyone and making them Carlton supporters?" It is a very challenging thing. It is. So there's a lot of good ones.
Well, Rich, I was inspired to play something, if that's okay.
You're going to play some music? All right, take off the... all right, cool, yeah. And there's another one, Go the Tigers. We like the Tigers because of Basher Hoolby.
Yeah.
But what do you want to play for us as we wrap up?
I'm not sure if you can hear it.
What the hell is that, man? Sam.
That's Coldplay, and that is called what's it called? It's Coldplay. It's the latest one. And higher frequency?
Higher power.
Yeah.
Higher power. That's it.
Good stuff, man.
Come on.
Go Coldplay.
That's love awesome. Life, love music. We better sign out from here. Sam, do your last words. Tell them where they can find us, and for next week.
Yeah.
And it's been a pleasure. This show has been awesome today. Great stuff.
It was absolutely great. This is the hit. So watch us or hear us and watch us every Tuesday morning and your afternoon, 8:30 a.m. at the Dubai time, to get your hit We hope to grow this show, the momentum. We're all learning as we go. And while we do that, we hope to inspire people along the way. Thank you very much for tuning in to today's episode of What Do You Do to Shift Your Mood? Next week, looks like it's unanimous. We're going to be talking about anxiety, which is a big thing up there. So please tune in, share, like, comment on the HIT show. HIT being human investment technology, where you are the most important investment for yourself and those around you. We wish you a great day. Thanks, Lana. Thanks, Moritz, Rocco, Gina, everyone, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We're going to end it right now. See you next week.
Ciao.